みんなを守れるなら命を懸ける価値がある。だから悲しむ必要なんてないんだ。わかったか。
Minning University. The graduation season at Minning University is filled with sorrowful farewells and a growing zeal to protect the city. Rare earth elements suitable for weapons manufacturing were discovered within the boundaries of Minning City 6 years ago, which only resulted in an invasion from India's fleet. Countless youth enlisted to protect their home, and you were also elected to major in intelligence at Minning University due to your outstanding talents in mathematics. When you're not required to carry out missions, you look just like any other university student living in an era of peace, enjoying a life full of happiness and fun. However, this mirage will be shattered the moment you graduate from the university. Even so, the school still provides a traditional farewell party for the graduating students.
今年の舞踏会は誰と踊るんですか？
Like you, Kiki is also a student studying intelligence. She is a lively girl who prefers painting instead of cryptography. However, Minning needs intelligence officers, and Kiki had to temporarily put her personal aspirations aside.
愚問でしたね。あなたは人気者ですし、とっくにいろんなところからお誘いされてますよね。
Sorry to disappoint, but not a single person has asked me.
また。舞踏会はもう明日ですよ。
Yeah, tomorrow will be our last day at Minning University.
どうしてそんなに余裕なんですか？
What's there to be worried about? Nothing in the university's regulations say I have to dance.
一応言っておきますけど、男子から誘わなきゃいけないなんて拘束もないですからね。そうだ、水瀬さんを誘ってみるのはどうです？
Why are you bringing him up all of a sudden? Luke is a student at your school and in your senior. Due to your similar grades, you two often partner up to help your upperclassmen on their missions. As this becomes more frequent, a rumor about you two dating somehow also started to circulate.
入学以来ずっと首席を争っていた相手なので、最初はむしろライバルだろうとか思ってましたけど、今や最高の相棒って感じですよね。私、彼ほど舞踏会の相手にふさわしい人はいないと思ってますよ。
You stated yourself that the party is tomorrow. He probably has a date already. You remember you went to the principal's office to hand in some paperwork when you saw a girl stopping Luke at his tracks to talk about the party.
いやいや、あの人もう何度も誘いを断ってるって聞きましたよ。それこそ誰かのことを待ってるんじゃないですか？
Kiki lightly knocked her elbow against yours as she speaks. You're just talking nonsense.
嘘じゃないですってば。知らないと思いますけど、この4年間2人を知る全員が行く末を見守ってきたんですからね。
Confess? Something like that would have been taken for granted by people your age in peaceful times. However, now no one would dare speak that word due to flames of war. This is particularly true as tensions between the two cities have reached a breaking point in recent years. Many people have already paid the ultimate price. As a resident of Minning City, you should devote all your efforts to achieving victory. As for the rest, that should come afterward. Minning City is in shambles right now. How could I even bother with stuff like that?
明日がわからないからこそ、一日一日を大切に生きるべきでは？冬木先輩のこと、まだ覚えていますか？
Dean was a talented teacher and a good friend of Kiki. However, he passed away during a mission after he graduated. Kiki was depressed for a long time because of it. I remember.
時々思い出して、その度に後悔するんです。ちゃんと思いを伝えてればって。
Kiki.
あ、心配しないでくださいね。本当に軽く思い出しちゃうだけなので。
Kiki looks at you with a seriousness rarely seen on her face.
もしあなたに好きな人がいるなら、私のような後悔はしないでくださいね。
I got it. As you converse, the smell of an Arab kitchen draws near and you instinctively look up. A gray plane glides towards the two of you from above and does a barrel roll right above you. Then the plane's wing tilts towards you, gliding past at a low altitude as if saying hello, then moves toward the airport.
今の機体、こっちに挨拶してきました？
Looks like it.
その反応、まさか知り合いのパイロットだったり？
You do too. It's me.
嘘！水瀬さんって飛行機も操縦できるんですか？
Yes, he was taught by Mr. Yushmer. Mr. Yushmer, full name Aaron Yushmer, was already a year 4 senior by the time you entered the academy. For some reason, he and Luke were always close. Even after graduation, they maintained a great friendship.
なるほど。それでさっきあなたにわざわざ挨拶していったんですね。
No matter how you answer her question, you already know it won't turn out well. Thankfully, Luke already got off the plane and is walking towards you.
偶然だな。
ちゃっかり上空から挨拶までしてたのに、偶然？
いや、それは。
Enough, Kiki.
はいはい、わかりましたよ。
Kiki stares at Luke.
それで、水瀬さんはどんなご用事ですか？
Luke pauses, then the corners of his lips still up as if he's already used to Kiki's teasing.
飛行機でこいつに会いに来たんだよ。
Confronted with such honesty from Luke, Kiki is the one stunned speechless. Taking this chance, he walks up to you and a faint scent unique to him sneaks into your nose.
だから悪いけど、二人で話してもいいか？
Yes.
それじゃあ。
Kiki Bennett finally understands what Luke is gaping at.
あ、そうでした。学長からサインをもらう予定があったので、私は失礼しますね。どうぞごゆっくり。
Kiki then grabs your arm and stands on tiptoes to whisper in your ear.
貴重なチャンスですよ。大事にしてくださいね。
Can you focus on more important things?
今のあなたにとって大事なことは間違いなくこれです。ささ、早く言ってください。
Kiki gives you a soft push forward and you stumble in surprise with Luke reaching out and grabbing you just in time. Meanwhile, the perpetrator only winks at you and mouths a good luck.
大丈夫か？
Yeah, I'm fine. What were you seeing?
俺。
Luke lets go of you, avoiding your gaze in embarrassment. Seeing how awkward he looks, you can't help but tease him. If you're not gonna say anything, I'm leaving.
待って、今言うから。
He takes a deep breath and looks at you straight in the eye.
卒業前の舞踏会で、俺と踊ってくれないか？
You were prepared to ask Luke yourself, but didn't anticipate he would be the one to take the initiative. Don't let your wish come true this easily. But the party is tomorrow. Don't you think this is too late to be asking me?
あ、もう誰かと約束しちまってたか。いや、そんなはずはない。俺が全員追い払っておいたから、お前を誘いに来るやつなんて。
Now you understand. Luke made sure that nobody else asked you to the party. Well, it made sure. If you want to be my dance partner, you need to beat me in a competition first.
もちろん。どんな勝負だ？暗号解読以外ならどんな勝負だっていいぞ。
You got higher grades than Luke on every single cryptography test during the fourth year of your degree. To be fair, he is an outstanding student. He is just slightly lacking in this discipline compared to everything else. Thanks for the reminder. I was planning to try something else, but let's see if we can beat each other at cryptography.
しまった。余計なことを言っちまった。
So, do you still want to compete?
もちろんやるさ。いつ始める？
This afternoon in the training room.
わかった。
Training room. Luke is already waiting in the training room when you arrive. Upon seeing your arrival, he hastily puts away a box.
来たか。
What are you hiding over there?
何？そんなことしてないぞ。
Luke hurriedly changes the topic while denying that fact.
それよりも勝負するんだろ？具体的には何をするんだ？
You look around the place. The training room is designed for close combat and doesn't have any equipment for encryption or deciphering. Let's use Morse code to send a message.
モールス信号？いいけど、ここには発信機なんてないぞ。
We don't need gear. We can tap out the code in the person's palm. Whoever can decipher it, the fastest win. By the way, do you have a stopwatch?
いや、けど、時間を計るだけなら、俺のペン型録音機でもできるぞ。ここにあるボタンを押せばいいだけだ。
Luke takes out his recorder pen from his shirt pocket. Since it is expensive to manufacture, these pens, only a few are in circulation. His father spent a lot of effort to get him one before he started university, and Luke cherishes it to the point that he never lets it leave his person. Before he would record anything important on his recorder pen, then go over it later.
道具はこれで揃ったし、細かいルールを聞かせてもらうとするが。
The rules are simple. A short touch is a dot, and a touch lasting for 2 seconds is a dash.
わかった。
Who goes first?
お前からでいいぞ。
Luke stretches his hand at you without reservation. His hand is big, and there are calluses dotting his index fingers leading to his thumb due to his frequent use of firearms. Luke shivers a little when your fingertip touches his palm. Don't move. You see the clear contours of his palm as your finger rises and falls. His lifeline is very long, stretching toward his wrist until it disappears. Luke will probably live to be 100 years old. The question you ask him is, where do you want to go after graduation? Have you deciphered it yet?
あ、ちょっと待てよ。
Luke's brows are furrowed. They only smooth out after he spends a while in thought.
わかったぞ。 卒業後はどこに行くのだな。
Yes. The corner of Luke's lips curls up. He should already have made plans for the future.
もちろん前線に行くよ。ユーネの情勢は4年前よりずっと厳しくなってるからな。嫌側からの工作員が大勢入り込んでるって話だから、そのうち何か大きな動きがあるかもしれない。ユーネ生まれの一人としても、この大学の卒業生としても、俺は当然この地を守るつもりだ。
You can't help but laugh when you hear Luke's answer. To be fair, you already knew how he would answer before you even asked. He is a complete idealist, the kind who will heroically sacrifice himself for the ideals he upholds. That's true. Now it's your turn.
よし。じゃあ手を出してくれ。
Luke props up the back of your hand with his left hand as his right index finger hovers in the air. He lifts his eyes to look at you as his ears turn rosy.
じゃあ、始めるぞ。
You nod and Luke's burning fingertips softly touches your palm. Electricity seems to pulse between where you are connected, making you nervous for no reason. You close your eyes and try hard to ignore your accelerating heartbeat, focusing instead on the information Luke wants to pass on to you. What have you planned for the future?
ほとんど同時に解読するとは、さすが優等生だな。
Thanks, but your question is too generic. No one dares talk about the future in such chaotic times. Because there might not be a future.
なら、具体的な質問に変えるけど、卒業したら何をするつもりなんだ？それと、ユーネ氏が平和になったら何がしたい？
Isn't that the same question I asked? I'll probably head to the front lines of the graduation just like you. Maybe we'll even get to be partners again. As for after that, I haven't thought that far. Meaning City isn't out of danger yet. But if I get that far, I want to go study at more advanced institutions and see the world with my own eyes.
なら、その時は俺も一緒に行くよ。一緒に勉強して、一緒にいろんな世界を見に行こう。
The words Luke says land in your heart like an oath. Can you interpret it as you two will always be together forever? Great, we'll go together. Luke finally realized what he said and blushed up to the tip of his ears.
時間を見てみるか。
He lowers his head and looks at the time you both took to decipher the message. As you expected, you were faster.
やっぱりお前の方が早いな。俺の負けだ。ケンニーの言う通り、もっと早くに誘っておくべきだったが。
You can't help but smile when you see how despondent Luke looks. You should have asked me sooner, yes, but it's not too late.
俺と踊ってくれるのか？でも、勝負は俺の負けだぞ。
I just said I want to compete with you, not that you need to win.
そうだったか？
Luke grins and scratches the back of his head. He sits down, looking relaxed. You both used to just lie on the floor to rest up every time you finish your close quarter combat trainings. But the last time you and he spent any alone time here was...
覚えてるか？初めての任務に出る前も、手紙で俺のことをここに呼び出したよな。
He is evidently thinking of the same incident as you. Of course I do. That was my first time giving a letter to a boy.
そういや、俺にとっても初めてのことすぎて、わざわざケンニーのとこまで相談しに行ったっけな。
Huh? Did you show the letter to him as well?
まさか、ただ人に呼び出されたって言っただけだ。
School entrance.
ケンに、手紙で訓練室まで来てってどういう意味だと思いますか？
ん？早速お誘いが来たのか。差出人は誰だ？女子か？
ええ、おそらくは。
だったら答えは一つだろう。彼女は告白しようとしてるんだよ。
告白？
それしかないだろう。で、誰なんだ？俺の知ってる人か？
Aaron looks very curious.
ケンに、相手のプライバシーもあるので、それは言えませんよ。
わかったよ。で、お前も彼女が好きなのか？
それ以上脱線するなら戻ります。
悪かったよ、もう聞かないって。けどいいか、夏彦。一応しっかりした服を着てくんだぞ。どういう返事をしようが相手の気持ちには敬意を払うもんだ。
はい、わかりました。
Training room. Luke changes into a new shirt as Aaron suggests and heads to the training room in the afternoon, seeing the girl waiting for him.
悪い、待ったが。
You aren't late. I got here too early.
で、俺に何か言おうか。
Luke rubs the back of his neck awkwardly. His eyes wander and he feels too embarrassed to look at the girl in front of him. However, the girl suddenly walks up to him and bows. This is a gesture reserved for teachers in the university. Luke, could you please teach me some self-defense moves?
まさか、呼んだのってそのためか。
The girl lifts her head and nods solemnly. We're heading out for our first mission next week. My grades for intelligence classes are decent, but my practical combat skills... So I'm wondering if you can give me some lessons. I know this is a really selfish request, but... Seeing how flustered the girl is, Luke seems to have relaxed a little and unbuttoned his collar.
いいよ、教えてやる。
Really?
ああ、お前は確かに優等生だが、護身術に関しては俺の方が得意だからな。それに、お前は俺の相棒だし、当然協力するよ。
Thank you, Luke. Luke's heart accelerates uncontrollably when he sees the unbridled smile on the girl's face. He raises his hand to cover his burning face and shifts his eyes.
礼はいいから、早速始めるぞ。
Okay. You didn't think that was how Luke saw the whole thing, so that was why he deliberately dressed in something other than a uniform. So he thought I was going to confess. Were you disappointed that I didn't confess? Luke looks at you in surprise when he hears your question.
正直に言うと、ちょっとな。
Luke openly admits it, but you both drop the conversation tacitly. Dark undercurrents roil within meaning. Though you are still in school, you are very aware that a ravaged world lies outside the walls of your ivory tower. But even so, you want this moment of peace to last as long as possible. Luke, do you want to teach me self-defense again?
喜んで教えてやるよ。
Everything overlaps with what happened 2 years ago. Luke puts his right hand behind him and instinctively prepares to block your attack with only one hand. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. Are you sure you still want to handicap yourself?
もちろん。じゃ、始めるぞ。
Luke responds confidently. The way he teaches self-defense is rather different than how the instructors do it. He lets you attack first, then blocks your attack, as if this is a trial for real combat. You attack him as you were taught, and he initially dodges all of them. However, you soon discover his weakness. He gets distracted as soon as you get near him. Together with how his movements are restricted to only one hand, you soon find an opening. You grab Luke's wrist and rush up to him. Unable to dodge, he falls down together with you. Luke has to use the right hand that he had placed behind him all this time to support you and prevent you from ramming into him. While he is distracted, you prop the gun on your hand against his face, forcing him to stay still. Now you know you're underestimating me. Luke snickers.
ああ、確かに。2年前よりはずっと成長してるけど。
He pauses and the corners of his lips tilts up, showing no sign that he's the one being pinned down. But what? Luke lifts himself a little and softly whispers into your ear.
まだまだだな。
The warmth between your bodies makes your exposed skin quickly heat up, yet you can't move away in this current situation. You can only keep listening to him. What should I do then, Mr. Pierce?
俺が持ってる武器をすべて取り上げなきゃ、うっかり反撃を許しちまうぞ。
All the weapons? He means he has weapons and then a gun on him? Do I have to freeze Luke?
どこに隠してるか教えてやろうか。
So he did hide them. It seems the purpose of this test is to find those hidden weapons.
最初のナイフは太ももの外側だ。
Seeing that you are still deep in thought, Luke can't help but give you a hint.
迷いは命に直結するぞ。
Guided by Luke's words, you put your hand on the outside of his thighs. Sure enough, there is a small dagger. You pull it out and throw it far away.
いいぞ。最初の脅威を排除したな。
You're helping me to cheat.
そうか？なら、残り2つは自分で見つけてみな。
Luke then stops talking and watches you in amusement, waiting for your next move. I can't let Luke look down on me. You examine him closely and realize there aren't many places where he can hide a weapon. If not the outside of his thigh, then that leaves you with your hands reach Luke's face. Sure enough, there's a gun around his face.
おめでとう。2つ目も排除完了だ。
Don't try to distract me with words. Luke smiles and shakes his head.
ヒント。最後の1つは絶対に見つからない自信がある。
You ignore Luke's attempts to distract you with words, holding him down as you look for the gun holster. According to my teacher, there should be a blade hidden here.
どうする？降参するか？
Luke speaks with a smirk, perfectly calm. Hey, shut it. You glare at Luke.
わかったわかった。黙ってるよ。
After Luke finally shuts up, you keep searching until you find a blade hidden on his chest. On it, Luke looks at you with an approving look.
ああ、上出来だ。これでお前が手を離さない限り、俺はもう抵抗できない。
I told you not to underestimate me.
甘く見てなんてないって。俺の知ってるお前はいつだって立派だよ。
His straightforward compliment embarrassed you. Good.
じゃ、そろそろ話してくれるか？
Your attention finally drawn away from the joy of victory, and you realize what a compromising position the two of you are currently in. Up close, you can see little sparkles of light shining in his eyes, as though entire galaxies are contained within them. Oh, right. You let Luke go and hurriedly stand up. As soon as you finish studying your clothes, which were wrinkled during combat, you hear hurried knocking on the door.
水瀬さん、中にいますか？
Training room. You and Luke hear a familiar voice. It sounds like Kiki. I'll go open the door.
ああ、
You open the door and see Kiki, who has worry written all over her face. Her brow is covered in tiny beads of sweat, and she seems to have been looking for you for a long time.
ここにいたんですね。二人とも今すぐ学長室に向かってください。
What happened?
詳しいことは何も。ですが急いでください。あの人の表情からしてかなり深刻な事態だと思います。
With the urgency from the principal, you and Luke can't help but feel an ominous dread when you think of the tense situation in Minning.
とにかく、まずは学長のところに行こ
That's the only thing we can do. Only by talking with the principal can you ascertain the specific situation. You turn to Kiki. Don't worry, you head back to the dorm first.
わかりました。
Principal's office. Luke and you arrive at the principal's office, where the elderly principal frowns as he sits behind his desk. He closes the code book lying on his table when he sees you come in.
う。学長、お呼びですか？
ああ、夏彦。まずは扉を閉めてくれるか。
Luke nods and closes the door. The principal walks up to you, his face set in worry. Did something happen in Minning, sir? You can't help but verbalize the question on your mind.
ああ、今日の午後、新たな情報が入った。イアの特殊工作員が2日後、隣町の危険を爆破するそうだ。
Minning University sits within the boundaries of Qi County. However, since we are a unique institution and are geographically isolated, we are not governed by them. Nonetheless, we and Qi County are close neighbors. Neither party will sit by if the other is in danger. Besides, Qi County is a region predominated by commercial activity and is not a part of the rare earth elements transport chain. Yunya usually leaves this part of the world alone.
街を爆破？情報は確かなんですか？
出所からして間違いはないだろう。だが、今は厄介な問題を抱えていてな。
問題？何です？
爆弾に関する具体的な情報がまだ解読できていないんだ。危険に配置されていた情報員も、学内にいた担当教師も、つい先日前線に行ってしまってな。
前線は今、そんなにも危険な状況なんですか？
The elderly principal shakes his head helplessly.
ああ、双方ともに一触即発だ。ここだけの話、本校もすでに1月前から最大限の支援を始めている。
You're saying that not even the university can help Qi County right now?
そうなるな。だが現状の情報からして、今回は我々の意識をそらすための陽動に過ぎないそうだ。それに危険は幼少ではない。 嫌顔もそこまで大掛かりなことはしないだろう。
The principal is right. In the current situation, weapons and resources must be utilized where they are most needed. It would be quite a waste to launch a large-scale assault on a small commercial county. The principal opens the code book he previously closed and hands it to the two of you. The page contains some already deciphered intel. Yenya's explosives are placed in a single location somewhere in Qi County. Their quantity and precise location are unknown.
今回の任務は限られた時間内で爆弾を発見し、速やかに排除することだ。
The principal turns to you two as he speaks.
この程度の任務なら深山の下で何度もこなしているだろうから、君たちの実力なら2人でも遂行できるだろう。
You mean you want us to carry out this mission independently?
そうだ。深山もすでに別の重要任務についていて、今夜秘密裏に出発する予定だ。本来であれば君たちは明日卒業だが、その前に最後の任務を引き受けてほしい。
As students, being able to independently carry out missions is the confirmation of your ability. At the same time, as graduates well nurtured by Minning University, you have a duty to protect the people here. You don't have a reason to refuse this mission from either a logical or emotional perspective. You and Luke look at each other briefly, and both of you already know the answer.
お任せください。
We'll do it, Principal.
ありがとう。だがそう緊張しなくてもいい。2人は我が校が誇る最も優秀な学生だからな。個々の能力はもちろん、2人の相性についても我々はそう判断している。敵を軽視せず、学んだことを最大限生かし、臨機応変に対応する。わかったか？
はい。
Understood.
そうだ。私の秘密の連絡先も教えておこう。
The principal hands you a note with a string of numbers written on it.
緊急事態に陥ったら発信し、3回鳴らしてから切ってくれ。こちらから直ちにかけ直す。だが、
The principal pauses and looks serious.
もし折り返しがない場合は、大学も危険な状態にあると思いなさい。
Think how your expressions already also grown solemn. The principal laughs and pats your shoulders.
若者よ。標的を前にしたような顔をするな。今のは我々の古い慣例だよ。最悪の結果を常に想定せよ。さもなくば勝利は訪れない。
I see. Please don't scare us like that.
出撃前の緊張をほぐしてやっただけだ。深山にもよく縁起でもないと言われていたが、本当に不評みたいだな。
学長である前に先生なんですから、先生らしい言動をお願いします。
With this banter, both of you feel a little lighter.
それで、出発はいつ頃ですか？
この話が終わったらすぐだ。外で待機している深山が作戦基地まで君たちを連れて行く。そこに爆弾に関する未解読の資料があるから、着いたらすぐ目を通してくれ。そして九段の情報を解読した後、爆弾の処理に向かってほしい。
わかりました。
Yes, sir.
では、勝って帰ってこい。
School entrance. You and Luke head directly to the university gates after you leave the principal's office. You see Aaron leaning against a car and waiting for you. He has a blade of grass in his mouth, which he spits out when he sees the two of you. He then walks up.
来たな。お前たちのルームメイトの手を借りて荷造りは済ませておいた。ほら、2、3日分の着替えだ。金もいくらか入れておいたから、 足りなくなったら使ってくれ。
ありがとうございます。
Aaron gives you both a look, pulls a piece of hard candy out of his pocket, and stuffs it into his mouth.
礼なんて言うな。そもそもこれはお前たちに任せる仕事じゃない。前線がここまで逼迫してなければ、学長だってこんな危険なことはさせなかったはずだ。卒業すらしてないお前らを危険な目に遭わせるなんて、教師の恥だよ。まったく。
The hard candy crunches loudly in his mouth. The sound grates in your ears. Mr. Yashmir will be graduating tomorrow. You try to comfort Aaron. He only smiles despondently and opens the car door.
卒業しても、俺から見ればどっちもまだまだガキだ。
ケニー、これからはそうも言ってられませんよ。案外俺の方が先に出世するかもしれませんしね。
お前ってやつは。
Aaron points at Luke and seems to want to say something, only to stop himself in the end.
まあいいさ。ほら乗れ。出発するぞ。
Luke and Hugh look at each other and grin before opening the back door and jumping in. Intelligence Base. You soon arrive at your destination. You've always thought that the intelligence headquarters should be located in secretive places. But the place where Aaron drops you off is the busiest block in Jay County, and it looks no different from the civilian houses around it.
なるほど。施設を隠すなら街の中ってことか。
Luke laughs and gives an explanation as if he anticipated your inquiry. Like how people say hiding in plain sight. He nods and opens the curtains in the study. You can clearly see the tallest building of Chi County from here, the Salis Hotel. It is rumored that an emergency runway was installed on the Salis Hotel's roof after the war with Xianyang was declared, allowing small transport planes to take off and land to make logistics easier. While you are engrossed in looking at the hotel, Aaron checks all over the house and returns from upstairs. His hand is in his hand and he looks rather serious.
確認してきたが、ひとまず問題はなさそうだ。前任の情報員の話では、2階東側の書斎に解読用の道具をそのまま隠してきたらしい。
Thanks, I'll go up to have a look. Aaron smiles and stops you from heading up.
待て待て、まだ話は終わってない。用意した身分だが、2人は危険に商売先を探しに来た新婚夫婦ってことになってる。あまり時間がなくてな。悪いが、近隣にはそう伝えてくれ。いいか？
はい。
Got it. Aaron looks at his watch.
じゃ、そろそろ俺も行くとするかね。
わかりました。ケニーも気をつけてください。
Luke isn't referring to Aaron's journey back. He is telling Aaron to stay safe on the battlefield. He seems to understand.
あいよ。あ、見送りはいらないからな。
After Aaron leaves, Luke carries the pile of intel downstairs. The study upstairs is too small and can't fit 2 people working. The previous agent had finished sorting the intel before they left. However, with this much backup, it will be difficult to go through it all in a short time. You sit down facing each other and get started, as if you are dealing with homework assigned by a lecturer. After a whole day and nights working, Yanya's plans are finally revealed, and their impact is much larger than you had imagined. Luke.
お前も気づいたか。はっきり言ってこの計画は、俺たちの想定をはるかに超えてる。
You place the intel you each deciphered on the table and start to put together Yin-Yan's entire
昨
plan.
日、嫌側の工作員が商談になりすまし、物資を満載にした5機の小型飛行機を支援という名目で前線に飛ばした。だが、実際はうち1機に大量の時限爆弾を積み込み、離れた5カ所のどこかの発着場に運び込んでる。
Luke takes out a map and marks the 5 locations where the planes are parked, with Stella's Hotel being one of them. These 5 places are very far from each other. It would be unrealistic to go to all of them.
だな。にしても、どうして決行が今日の午後なんだ？
Luke points toward the words indicating time in the intel, looking very serious. Because the county magistrate will be hosting a business tea party in Stella's Hotel, and all industrialists in this county are invited. Not only does the intel you decipher match the information Luke deciphered, but it also indirectly proves the enemy has a high chance of placing the bombs in the Stella's Hotel. Most of these are businessmen, but they have been silently supporting Minning. An explosion at the hotel would cause all of their demise and damage us greatly.
もっと言うと、ホテルの位置は危険の中心にあって、爆発が起きれば甚大な被害が出る。前線の状況はわからないが、後方が攻撃されれば影響を受けるのは間違いない。
How despicable! So Yinya is already targeting innocent civilians in order to achieve victory?
もしかすると、これはただの始まりに過ぎないかもな。とにかく、今は爆弾の解除を優先するぞ。
You nod and look toward the Stella's Hotel. With such a meticulous plan, your enemy shouldn't be letting you approach your goal so easily. Intelligence piece. You and Luke have deciphered intel regarding the bombs and discovered Yinya's spies hid the bombs inside a donated airplane. The plane is currently parked on the helipad on the roof of the Stella's Hotel, and the tea party of the local industrialists is happening in the hotel right now. Should the bombs explode, it would damage the commercial activities holding up Minning City. What do? Do we let the magistrate know?
ダメだ。危険でこんな手の込んだことをできる相手だぞ。内通者がいる可能性だって十分考えられる。
You mean the magistrate might have...
まだ結論は出せないが、危険側の人間も安易に信用すべきじゃない。
Then should we call the principal's private line? It was just a joke the principal told to lighten the mood, but it had become a lighthouse pointing the way for you.
そうするか。まずはざっと現状を整理して、それから学長に知らせよう。
After you go through the intel again, you call the private number just as the principal had instructed you, but you don't receive a call back after a long time. You no longer have the luxury of waiting. The Stella's Hotel that had charmed you when you first arrived is now a dangerous beast needing to be tamed.
学長から連絡が返ってこないということは、大学の方でも何かがあった可能性が高いな。
Luke finally sees what you've been thinking for a while. Looks like it's up to the two of us.
だな。現状で取れる最も効率的な作戦は、ホテルの屋上に忍び込んで、密かに爆弾を解除することだけど。
But in this situation, I bet spies from Yinya would be on the lookout around the place. Maybe they'd even have people waiting next to the plane. Both of you become silent. You have no idea how many people you are going up against. But there are only two of us. If we are totally outnumbered and can't complete the mission, you shake your head and try to forget about this terrible thought.
飛行機に接近するまで、俺たちの正体がバレるわけにはいかない。なら、客として潜入するのはどうだ？
Sure, but under what cover?
そうだな。とにかく招待状を確保して、あとは入手した台本通りに演じるとしよ
Look means you will pretend to be whatever kind of guest the invitation asks for. But where do we get the invitation? Luke blinks at you.
う。考えてあるから心配すんなって。とにかく、急いでホテルに向かうぞ。
Are you trying to Luke's warm palm on your lips stops the rest of your sentence.
あえて言う必要ないだろう。今回ばかりは仕方ないっていうか。
He blushes and explains himself weakly. He finally lets you go when you nod your head and promise not to say it again. Starless Hotel. Luke's original plan was to take an invitation from a guest attending the tea party, but in the end, you two bought it from a young couple at a high price. You two pretend to be a young couple coming to Chi County to do business. You walk through the hotel's door, arms intertwined. You are guided to the tea party by the doorman. You don't recognize anyone here, but it is easy to tell that while some are industrialists, others are here to monitor them. There are also people pretending to be waiters and loitering at the stairs, evidently to prevent people from going up.
会場内の監視をかいくぐるより、エレベーターホールを抜ける方が難しそうだな。
Luke's hand hovers over your waist as he lowers his head and explains the situation to you. Maybe I can pretend to be sick? Then you can help me walk through the stairs, rest up, and we'll take them down.
わかった。やってみるか。
Once the plan is made, you pretend to be dizzy and put your head on Luke's chest. Then he holds your shoulders and walks toward the stairs in apparent anxiety. The two waiters make an excuse that the entire hotel is booked for a private function and refuse to let you go upstairs. While they are distracted by Luke, you suddenly attack them and knock one of them out, and Luke swiftly dispatches the other.
そっちを見張っててくれ。その間に二人を隠せ。
Okay. Luke quickly ties the two up and stuffs clothes into their mouths, then locks them in the storage room. The whole process is quick and clean.
よし、行くぞ。
Yeah. Rooftop helipad. After knocking out the two other guards at the door to the roof, you silently arrive at the rooftop. There is indeed a plane on the helipad. The wind is very strong on the rooftop and the sky is turning from clear to cloudy. Bang! There is the sound of something banging close to the plane, as if something ran into it.
止まれ。俺が確かめてくる。
Be careful. Luke nods, sticks out the gun he carries on a harness on his back, and slowly approaches the plane. Before he even gets close, you see someone suddenly falling to the ground below the plane's landing gear, and then a leather-dressed shoe slaps on the person's face. There's someone next to the plane. Panicking, you look at Luke. He notices the commotion as well and quickly takes cover, then finds an opportunity to rush back to where you are. This is when you vaguely hear the sound of conversation from the direction of the plane.
市長さんよ。一応命だけは助けてやろうと思ったんだぜ。なのに、こっちの計画まで邪魔するなんてな。
The man on the ground is the magistrate, then the other person is a Yin-Ya spy? You and Luke share a look. Seems like the magistrate did not betray Minning. We need to save him. Luke nods with a serious expression. The conversation continues not far away. The food on the magistrate's face grinds itself into the man's cheek, then step off. The magistrate is then lifted off the floor.
最後のチャンスだ。今からでも黙って協力するってんなら、さっきまでのことは水に流してやる。
私は市長だ。そんな提案を引き入れるわけがなかろう。
なかなか好調だな。
The painful screams can be heard all the way where you are. You clutch your hands into fists and wish you could just rush up right now to save the man. It is simply too much to watch your leader being humiliated despite still being on Minning soil.
レアアースをめぐってイヤとユーネは何年も対立し、その間に多くの民が犠牲になってきた。あまりに愚かなことだと思わないか。
Having recovered somewhat, the magistrate speaks with a hoarse voice.
すべてはイヤの繁栄のためだ。
話の通じない男だな。とにかく私はお前たちを許しはしない。
何を今さら言った。
The magistrate shakes free of the spy and turns to run to the barricades, preparing to jump from the roof. The magistrate is an elder with white hair. Struggling to move his body, he only managed to swing one leg over the barricade. He wants to use his own life to warn the guards below that something is wrong on the roof. The other evidently realized his intent too. Unable to catch up, the spy prepares to fire his silenced pistol. No! Luke calmly fires his own gun while the spy was distracted by your scream, killing the spy instantly. With one hand on the barrier, the magistrate looks over at you in shock.
君たちは何者だ。
Please stay calm. We are students from Minning University. Our principal sent us here to disarm the bombs.
学生？ユーネ大学が学生に任務を与えたというのか。
今は説明している時間がありません。ひとまず一刻も早く爆弾を確認しないと。
As Luke says this, he tucks his gun away, jumps onto the plane's wing, and ducks into the hull to check the situation. After much rummaging, he finds the time bombs beneath the goods. The bombs are already activated. What's wrong, Luke?
どうやらすでに作動しているようだな。
The magistrate gets down from the barricade and voices this fact as he walks toward you. Luke, his lips are pressed tightly together as he nods. How much time do we have?
1時間だ。
1 hour. That might be enough to evacuate the industrialists at Sally's Hotel. But what about the civilians who have been living here for generations? They can't leave. They have nowhere to go. Most importantly, you can't let Yinya carry out their plan. It would damage the morale of your men on the front lines. You and Luke made the same decision almost simultaneously. You cannot let the bombs go off inside Kei County.
市長、あなたの警備隊に飛行機を操縦できる人はいますか？
いたが、ここ2日は休みを取って故郷に戻っているよ。
What a coincidence! Why would he go back at this time?
こうなることも考えて、事前にパイロットを不在にさせたのかもな。
So, what do we do now? Luke takes a small exhale as if making up his mind.
俺がやる。
But you're not a professional pilot, and this is a plane that Yinya donated. Who knew whether they might have done anything to the plane? The thick sound of bullets being fired interrupts your conversation before you can even voice your concern. Luke immediately drags you to hide behind the plane as cover, and the magistrate heads over to you as well. The bullets plummet into the plane's hull, sending off a string of sparkles as a pungent smell invades your nostrils. Why are there suddenly so many people coming up here?
近くを通った監視役が銃声を聞きつけたんだろう。二人はここに隠れてろ。俺が片付けてくる。
Luke suddenly darts out before you can finish your sentence. The sound of gunfire immediately intensifies, and sparks fly everywhere. There are gunmen as far as you can see. Enemies keep falling down, and others keep pouring in from the door. Luke is gradually surprised by the enemy as more gunmen join the fight. Luke. As it becomes evident that Luke is struggling to fire back, the enemies begin to get closer, trying to encircle him. No, I have to help him. You shove the dagger in your hand into the magistrate's hands.
これは
Sir, my classmate is in danger, and I have to go help him. You stay here. Don't let anyone find you. He looks at you, then at Luke's disadvantageous situation a little way off, and sigh helplessly.
私は確かに年寄りだが、自分の身ぐらいは守れるよ。気をつけて行っておいで。
You nod and look up, only to see 5 or 6 Yingya agents about to encircle Luke. There is no time to think. You quickly pull out your gun, roll behind the closest cover, and fire repeatedly at the enemy closest to you. The Yingya agents are startled by your surprise attack, but it is too late when they turn their attention to you. Luke takes the opportunity to cover you and fire simultaneously. Just like the principal said, you and Luke are partners with a great understanding of each other. You are able to sense what the other is thinking with just one look. Turn, take cover, and fire. You help each other out of danger. However, just as one group of enemies falls, another group takes their place. Why is there no end to them?
もう少しの辛抱だ。ここが幽霊の地である以上、あっちの兵には必ず限界がある。
You hold your pistol tightly and fire the enemies rushing up in a sweeping arc. Finally, all of them have fallen. Your palms are dripping with sweat. The roof after the intense battle is as quiet as a graveyard. A drop of rain falls on your arm. Your mind only returns to reality after reinforcements fail to appear for a long time. It seems you have just managed to survive an intense confrontation. Luke looks exhausted as he leans against the plane. A wound on his face is bleeding, and his right hand is pressed against his left arm. You're wounded.
平気だ。大した傷じゃない。
Attempting to reassure you, Luke lifts his hand, but the bright blood that immediately seeps out is even more concerning. He doesn't take this into account and looks back at the plane. You two have lost too much time with that fight.
もう解除は間に合わない。俺がこいつを飛ばす。
With enough time, Luke could have flown the plane somewhere safe to disarm the bombs, but now, seeing that he is about to jump onto the wing, you instinctively grab his arm.
心配すんな。無茶はしないから。
As if he doesn't want you to worry, Luke pulls your hand and smiles at you.
こういう状況はケンニーの元で体験済みだし、当時も緊張したけど、最後には無事戻ってきたからな。それに、希望には危険がつきものだろう。今がその時ってだけだ。
Luke is right. You have been prepared to face danger ever since you entered Minning University and took your oath. You just didn't expect this day to arrive so soon. However, since it's happening, the best you can do is to face it without fear. I get it. As for now, the only thing you can do apart from telling him to stay safe is to pray. Luke smiles as he calmly adjusts the radio on the plane to contact Chi County's Air Traffic Control Center. Rooftop helipad. With not much time left, Luke decides to personally fly the plane filled with bombs to a safe location. But the situation is extremely concerning. Time and the full tank are both against him, and if he can't contact air control, every step that Luke takes is on the veritable edge of a cliff. If he makes a single mistake, he will fall into a bottomless abyss. Your worries and concerns are interrupted by the growing static on the radio. A distorted sound comes through the headphones. Luke immediately puts aside his own emotions. He picks up the radio and clearly and concisely explains the situation.
報告は以上です。他に必要なことは？残り時間。あと26分34秒です。わかりました。確認してみます。
Luke shifts to take a look at the full tank and a subtle expression flits across his face. However, his demeanor soon returns to normal.
おそらく100キロはいけるかと。
You can't hear what is said on the other end of the radio, but Luke is getting irritable.
燃料補給の時間はありません。管制塔、今すぐ最短ルートを教えてください。2分ですね。了解。
Luke puts down the radio. You grab him as he prepares to jump into the cockpit and dress his wound with your handkerchief.
ありがとな。
Luke, you'll definitely come back safely, right? In the end, you still can't stop yourself from asking this question. Luke smiles weakly and changes the topic.
お前に預かってて欲しいものがあるんだ。少しでも機体を軽くしないといけないからさ。
What? Luke takes out a delicate small box from inside his coat. It is the same one you saw him trying to hide back in the training room. What's this?
今は秘密だ。戻ってきたら教えてやるよ。
Okay, I'll keep this for you for now. As you take the box from him, you suddenly recall a tradition you heard from those who have already graduated. People who go off to execute dangerous missions need to be given an attachment of some sort. That way, they'll definitely try their best to come back alive. I want to give Luke this kind of attachment too. Luke? I have something very important to tell you when you come back. So you have to come back alive. Luke stares at your face and only replies after a few seconds have passed.
わかった。最善を尽くすよ。
The rumble of the plane engine tears through the heavy air like the roar of a beast. The plane glides forward, only lifting off slowly when it is already near the barrier and rushes into the gloomy sky. You run a few steps after it and watch as the plane cuts into the dark clouds. A sense of unease washes over you. Panicking, you grab the magistrate's arm. Sir, can you please take me to the air traffic control center? The magistrate sees through your concerns and nods immediately.
もちろんだ。ついてきなさい。
Flight Command Center. Due to safety concerns, the local air traffic control center is located in an underground file room. As Kiri County isn't an important strategic location, the staff working here usually only provides guidance to private jets of businessmen passing through here, and they are not very experienced. You calculate the distance between you and the red dot on the radar representing Luke's position. He's too slow. He should be further away if you were flying at a normal speed. Can you get in touch with him? You also stop standing aside. He looks flustered and panicked as he shakes his head. There is no time. You end up pushing him aside and adjusting the radio signals yourself. With a torrent of chaotic static, you finally hear the rumble of Luke's plane through your headphones. Luke, can you hear me?
お前か。どうして管制室にいるんだ？
Don't worry about that. Is the plane in trouble? Luke pauses at your question and finally admits it after a long stretch of silence.
ああ。屋上での銃撃戦でタンクに穴が開いたらしい。明らかに燃料の減りが早い。片道くらいなら余裕だと思ってたけど、この様子だとそれも厳しそうだ。市長もそこにいるか？
ああ、
The magistrate has been staying next to you all this time. When he hears Luke calling for him, he hurries toward the microphone.
なるべく粘ってみますが、念のため市民の避難をお願いします。
An even worse possibility than you had anticipated is now a reality. Luke is likely unable to fly the plane anywhere safe. The magistrate understands the implications too. The hand he is holding the microphones with trembles.
わかった。すぐに取り掛かろう。
Given the magistrate's advanced age, you are concerned about his health and ask the staff to go with him. With only you left in the control center to talk with Luke, you suddenly realize he'd known how dangerous this flight would be from the beginning. He discovered the issue with the fuel tank before he even left. But this isn't the time to feel worried. I'm the only one who can help him right now. The principal was right. We're the best partners. If we work together, we'll definitely be able to solve the crisis. You take a deep breath and lift the microphone to your mouth. Give me some time. I'll plan a new route.
お前。わかった。待ってる。
You dig out every map you can find and spread them on the table to find the safest and closest place for Luke to dispose of the bombs. The route the control center gave to Luke was the shortest flight path known. But that path isn't applicable anymore. You have to find him another one. You soon find a seaside bay. No one lives nearby and its distance is even closer. Look, I found one. There's a seaside bay about 60 kilometers to your right. According to my calculations, you should save plenty of time and fuel if you go there.
わかった。すぐそこへ向かう。
Hold on, there's one more thing.
どうした？
The weather conditions on this route are a bit complex. I can't be sure whether anything unexpected might arise during the flight.
大丈夫だ。俺はお前の判断を信じる。
Luke's voice is coming from far away through a faint signal, and it's not as real as it would sound if he were next to you. However, his words always makes you feel more secure. A small hope slowly rises in your heart. Maybe this mission will wrap up without a hitch, just like all the other missions before. Flight Command Center. Time ticks on and Luke's plane draws closer to the seaside bay. You slowly become less anxious. Suddenly, the sound of a shrill alarm is heard through the radio, followed by a string of thuds that sounds like explosions. What happened? Your heart instantly accelerates and you tightly grasp the microphone. However, only intermittent alarms and the rumble of the plane answer you. The alarm disappears after a few minutes, and Luke's voice drifts back to you from the distant sky. Luke, Luke, are you okay?
飛行機にちょっとした問題が起きただけで俺は大丈夫だ。
Luke's voice is scrambled in the static interference, but you can tell he is nowhere near fine. Tell me what's happening. Don't hide it from me.
俺はいつだって正直だよ。
Before Luke finishes, the signal suddenly cuts off and you lose his voice again. It is only after a long while that his voice trickles back to your ears with intermittent and spluttering static.
聞こえるか？
Yes, I can hear you. Look, you... Before you can finish, a sudden burst of explosions and the sound of glass shattering enters your ears. It is so loud that your ears briefly ring with it. Then the signal is gone again. His voice completely disappears into the void, leaving only some stuttery static on the radio. The only thing you can see is the red dot, representing Luke's position, creeping nearer and nearer to the bay. Concern, fear, unease, various emotions begin to ferment in your mind. Luke, please, come back. After a long time, the signal tower finally captures an image of the plane again. The cockpit cover is heavily damaged and the hull is covered in flames. Luke's face is pallid. He is trying his hardest to steady the plane, but it is still diving into the ocean. Luke! Luke! You call out his name anxiously, as if reminded of what is happening. He turns and smiles in comfort.
ああ、聞こえてるよ。もう安全区域に入ったから、これで危険は守られたはずだ。
Of course you know that. You planned the rubs yourself. The blast won't damage Gigante at all. However, there's something wrong with him.
また任務を果たせたな。
The deliberately light voice Luke is speaking with contains an almost undetectable quiver. Is it exhaustion or terror? You can't tell. Luke. What about you? When are you coming back?
それは。
Luke starts to talk, but he stops himself. You can hear his heavy breathing. A long inhale and a long exhale. You know he's trying to calm himself. He speaks again slowly after he takes a few long breaths.
操縦席が動かないんだ。
What? The pilot being jammed means he can't even parachute. A deep cold despair crawls all over your skin. A terrifying thought surfaces in your mind. Luke will plunge into the ocean with the plane and the bombs. Luke. A sweet and putrid sound gurgles up your throat. The words you want to say are stuck and you struggle to speak. Sensing your pain, a sliver of a smile surfaces on Luke's pallid face.
そんな悲しそうにするなよ。
He takes a few more deep breaths as if forcing himself to make a decision.
大学に入ってすぐに誓ったことまだ覚えてるか？たとえわずかな光だとしてもすべての熱を尽くして故郷の平和と同胞を守り子供たちが戦争で苦しまない世界を作る。
Stop, Luke, stop. Tears are falling down your face without you realizing it, and even your voice is tinged with pain.
泣くなって。俺はしっかり使命を果たせたし 信念だって貫くことができた。みんなを守れるなら命を懸ける価値がある。だから悲しむ必要なんてないんだ。わかったか。
But the plane jerks violently. Luke does his best to control it as a sheen of sweat emerges on his forehead. His image is so clear, yet you can't touch him. He is still so young. His life has just begun. He can offer so much more to the world if he keeps living. But he is about to die. His death is like as a speck of dust, falling to a place where no one will know and no one will remember. No, Luke, no. Luke smiles when he hears you, as if feeling relief.
もう時間がないから最後に言わせてくれ。
No, you can see that now, Luke. Gritting his teeth against the pain, Luke shuffles to a slightly more comfortable position.
今言わなきゃもう機会はない。
Luke.
どうして俺が暗号理論を専攻したかわかるか。確かな情報をつかまなきゃこの紛争が終わらないと信じていたからだ。そしてお前は俺が見てきた中で誰よりも優秀な情報員だ。
Luke, please, don't.
お前が望めばきっとユーネはすぐに平和を取り戻せる。
You know he is saying this so you won't be despondent after his passing. Luke is still worrying about me even now. Don't worry, I won't give up. Luke does indeed look more relieved when he hears you make this promise, and some color returns to his cheeks.
ならいい。お前にはいつか平和な世界で思うがままに生きてほしい。それから。
But before he can finish talking, your communication cuts off. The image on the screen becomes very unstable, and you can only tell via the red dot that the plane is currently rapid falling. Look! Look! Say something! You hoarsely yell out his name into the microphone, but no familiar voice comes from the other end. Only a loud explosion answers you. The plane figurine in the screen turns into a ball of light brighter than the sun, sinking into the ocean with billowing black smoke. And Luke, the vibrant Luke, who was once such an integral part of your life, disappeared just like that. Principal's office. 1 month later. The recovery team never found Luke. They only found the ruins of the plane and some of his belongings in the ocean. After being reviewed, his belongings were sent to the university. Aaron calls you to head to the principal's office. He gives you the recorder pen Luke always carried with him. Softly, you brush your finger over the word Luke, engraved by hand into its surface. He never leaves his recorder pen behind. A coarse and distant sound tears itself from your chest, sounding alien even to your own ears.
あんまり悲しまないでやってくれ。あいつはきっと望んで誓いを果たしに行ったんだ。
As he talks, you quietly clutch that recorder pen. Saying you like this, Aaron stops talking to you about this with a sigh and changes to the other topic.
そのペンには多くの言葉が残されていて、ほとんどが嫌側の信仰に関することだったそうだ。 学長によると、今後の領土防衛に大いに役立つだけでなく、この紛争を一日でも早く終わらせるためのアイデアが詰まっていたらしい。そんな大志を抱いていた奴が。
Aaron looks at you and doesn't continue. This is his decision. If he is given the chance to choose again, he'll make the same choice.
あいつのことをよく知っているんだな。そうだ。記録の最後にはモールス信号が入っていたそうだ。おそらく、墜落前に残した最後のメッセージだろう。
Morse code?
ああ。調べてみたが紛争とは無関係の夏彦の個人的な思いだそうだ。きっとお前さんに当てたものだろう。俺は用事で席を外すからゆっくり聞くといい。それとこの部屋には明日まで誰も来ないからそれまでにお別れを済ませときな。
Very well.
相棒がいつまでも落ち込んでたらあいつだって喜ばないだろ。
After Aaron leaves, you press down the play button on the recorder pen. The background noise is very loud in the audio. After about 5 seconds in, there is the sound of someone's nail tapping on the pin's hole. The rhythm does sound like Morse code. You close your ears and silently decipher it to yourself. This is a very simple Morse code. Dot 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 dash dot dot dash 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 dot 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 dash. You don't even need to decipher it. You can already understand what Luke is trying to say with those steps of different lengths. I love you. Those were the 3 words he didn't have a chance to say, and the words you originally wanted to tell him when he comes back. You tightly clutch the recorder pen, lean against the wall, and slide to the ground as tears stream down your face. Luke, if we were born in a peaceful era, these 3 words wouldn't have been so hard to say. I promise you that I will use my own light to bring peace to this world.
迎えが来るまで少し話せないか？
That pause, isn't that the one you asked me to hold onto that ear?
ああ、そうだよ。取っといてくれてありがとな。
Not mention it. How come you brought it with you today? Giving it to someone?
1年前に送ろうと思ってた相手に。
The person that he wanted to give it to a year ago.
大学の卒業前に舞踏会があったのを覚えてるか？
Of course, we were on a mission, so we couldn't attend it.
ああ。これは舞踏会が終わった後にお前に渡して告白しようと。
So Luke was preparing to confess, but what made you think of getting me a pearl hairpin?
宝石店での任務の時何度も見てただろ。だからだよ。
That happened 3 years ago. I can't believe
け
you
ど
remembered it.
予想外のことが多すぎた。あの作戦で墜落して生き別れて前線が動いてユーネが平和になりつつあって本当に良かったよ。これでもう愛が互いの人生を苦しめずに済む。
Luke,
今まで俺の一番の願いはみんなが平和に幸せに暮らせることだった。けどお前と出会って さらに欲が出ちまった。お前と一緒に生きていたいってな。だから、これからもお前と、堂々と並んで歩く権利をくれないか。
Yes, of course, I'm willing.
それじゃ、これも、つけていいか。
Sure.
迎えが来るまで、少し話せないか。